Alright,
Hi.
we're good. I think we're on.
Yep.
How you feel?
Feeling good.
How's school?
Intriguing.
Intriguing. Why is it intriguing?
Because we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Interesting. Sometimes I forget about that.
I don't know.
So, what's school like in a pandemic?
School like in a pandemic. Well, everything used to be a lot more livelier, and now you can see it in everyone's moods. Everyone's more quiet in class, especially since, there's usually a couple of class clowns in the classroom, whereas now it might just be one person, and now everyone's shy and quiet. The teachers are confused because we're all shy and quiet, and lunch is split in half. Everything's tiny.
There's less kids, right? Because some kids can opt to stay at home still.
So the options we had were to go on campus, to do online school with our school, or do online school with the state. So it's basically we're at half capacity about right now. There's a lot of kids online, but we also do hybrid classes.
Interesting. And everybody still has to wear a mask.
Yeah,
of course.
All the time.
Teachers wear a mask. How do you wear a mask at lunch?
So you can constantly see students being scolded for taking off their mask and walking around to other tables, because the only time you're allowed to take off your mask is when you're sitting down at your table and eating lunch, and you cannot move or go anywhere else without putting your mask back on.
What about in between classes? Can you take them off in the hallways?
No, you still do anyways, just to eat something, but it's usually very trying not to be sus, just putting it down real quick, eating something, putting it back up, walking to class.
That's crazy. I can't imagine that.
Especially meeting new people, because you only see the top part of their face, and then months later, after only knowing them as their eyes, you see them at lunch and they take off your mask, and you're like, oh my god, you have a face.
You have a face. Do you ever meet new kids and then you've only seen them with their mask on for weeks, so you don't know what their face looks like?
That's exactly what I was talking about. Yeah.
And then so eventually they take their mask off, and then you're either oh, you look exactly how I thought you would look like, or you're whoa, that's not.
That's
what
the
I
thing. You don't have
like.
any expectation, so when they take off your mask, it's just you're meeting a new person almost.
So you like it? It's good.
Yeah. It's
different.
It's just different. It's different meeting someone like that.
And how's your still doing music?
Yes.
Not band, but you are songwriting.
I'm songwriting.
Which I've read a lot of your songs. I've heard you tell me a lot of your songs, lyrics. How's that going?
It's going pretty well. I have my own EP project that I've set aside and then I'm working on consistently throughout the year. But side projects are more consistent and done quicker, so I'll be able to have music to share with everyone, and I already have a song being close to being released.
How many? 1, 2?
1 should be out soon, 2 are being prepped.
Is that the one we did this weekend? We gotta get it, we gotta get the vocals mastered, right. So we still got a little bit of work on that song. On your EP, how many songs are you trying to have on your album?
7 right now.
Is that those 7 and we're putting an album out?
Yeah.
Where are we putting it? Where can people find it once it's done?
I'm thinking Spotify, Apple Music, probably on my YouTube channel as well.
Do you have a alias that we can find you?
It's just my name.
Okay, we won't say that on here. What else? What else is going on in your world, in your life?
In my world. I mean, I'm a technical theater major now. That was a complete switch from what I used to be.
Which was in band?
Which is in band. It's just, band is very classical, especially the teacher. It's a classical teacher, and classical teachers are known to be very strict. Whereas in technical theater, the teacher is very casual. And it's not a very rigid learning structure.
Right.
It's more, they tell me what to do, and I ask, oh, well, how do I do this? And they're figure it out. If I do it wrong, I go back and I'm like, I did it wrong. He's like, okay, this is what you did wrong. Now fix it.
That's actually, like, honestly, in my opinion, I think that's the best way to learn. Because if you come up to someone, an educator or, you know, someone, an instructor, and say, how do I do this? And they just tell you how to do it, then you're not even thinking for yourself. You're just, okay, you're a great master at following directions, or you're on your way to be great at following directions, but you can't think for yourself. It's better for you to attempt it knowing that you're going to fail, and then someone come and say, okay, well, you know, you got 30% of it right. Here's where you went wrong. And you're like, oh, okay. And then it's like critical thinking for the next time.
Yeah, it definitely benefits my learning more, but at the same time, it can be frustrating sometimes because I'm a perfectionist, you know, and I want it to look good, especially since it's not personally for me, but it's an assignment, you know, and like I'm doing it for like a play or a show, you know, and I just want it to look good. But at the same time, I know whatever I do now, like, isn't forever. You know, I still have the rest of my school years to do something that's really, really good.
True, very true. It's a good learning experience. Yeah. I like it. It sounds good.
But yeah, there's different levels in technical theater. You have your construction, and then there's sewing, and then of course technical stuff. You have your lights, backstage, sound, and so we're learning how to do all of that. Learning how to do cues, run shows. The headsets are really cool.
Do they have like a microphone attached to it so you can communicate?
Your mic. Everyone's like, lights, stand by, sound, stand by.
It's like a little production.
I know. It's not even little, it's crazy. I went on the catwalk too. Yes. Harness and everything.
Nice.
I remember that I would have to do catwalk training when I went into technical theater, but I didn't think much of it. Like, I'm like, sure, it's high. I'm fine. Like, it's not gonna be scary at all. And being up there isn't the scary part. It's getting up there that's the scary part.
Climbing on the ladders to get up?
Yes.
But you're secured with a harness as you're climbing. No? So if you fall, like, you're done?
I mean, I guess.
I could sue the school?
I'm
not saying you should fall.
No, it's only like a short distance with the ladder, and then you have a platform, and then you go onto another ladder. So every time you go up, you say clear, and then someone else can go up. So it's more just like if you fall, it's only a very short distance. Like you'll be fine, and there's a cage around it, so you won't fall down.
So it's still
secure,
safe.
Yeah. But like after like the first two, you're like, oh my god, this is scary.
So how many ladders are you going up? Like
probably like. It depends on where you want to go.
I mean, I've been in the theater, so the catwalk's above the stage. I mean, that's probably a good, like, I don't know, 70 feet? 80 feet?
I don't know, like, how much it is, but when you're up there, you see so much. But the thing is, we went up, like, what seemed like 4 or 5 flights of, what are they called, ladders? And, oh my god, like, when we got to the catwalk, you could just see everything, and there's a bunch of things in the school that I didn't even know we had.
Like what?
There were like a bunch of like big dragon heads because they also use like that top space as storage. And so I'm like, I didn't even know that. Like, when did like school make this stuff?
Did you see a phantom?
No phantom.
That'd be cool.
No. But yeah, and then someone decided like, let's go up to the grid. I was like, what's the grid? And that was like 2 more.
Yep, even higher.
Oh god, like being high on the catwalk isn't scary. It really isn't. Because like you look down, but you have like a platform underneath you that's like black, you know? It's fine, you can see like your feet. On the grid, it's like a grid, you know, like it's like a grate.
Yeah, you can see down.
You can see right down, and it's so high, and it's so scary. And I was like, the whole entire time I was there, I kept telling myself, do not look down. Do not look down. I was
Welcome to the world of theater.
I know, it's crazy.
So you got a couple years left of high school, and then what are let's talk about like your goals, your plans after high school. Yeah, let's talk about that. Like, what are you hoping for?
That's a great question. What am I hoping for? I'm hoping to do music. I'm hoping to be an artist. There's of course people who I look up to, and you know, like people who like I would dream to collaborate with, but There's also, I know, like a lot of incredible artists out there, a lot of different kinds of artists out there, and that's also what excites me. The amount of like different people I can run into and learn from, and
So like music, when you say music, like what sense of music? Like what category? Singing, songwriting, producing, post production,
I want to sing.
DJing.
DJing.
I don't know.
I tried that before. It's not as easy as it looks. But I want to songwrite lyrics. I want to sing. I want to do pop performance. I really like the idea of being able to perform. I also, because of COVID, had the chance to take a dance class this year. And that was new for me. So I was actually comfortable with it. So it'd be cool to be able to do some kind of dance as well, like in a pop performance.
Okay.
I like pop music. I like tying different kinds of genres into pop, like jazz. I think jazz and pop is really fun.
So, but after high school, are you looking to like further education, like college or trade school or music? Like, I know you want to do music and be in music ultimately, but like, what's the path that you have that you see for yourself? Like,
So,
how are you gonna get there?
There's a few schools that intrigue me and that have caught my eye. Of course, the top one is quite a difficult level, quite a difficult goal to achieve.
And that is
USC Thornton. It is a school in LA, and just getting to LA is
There's a plane ticket away.
Yeah.
That's what you're gonna say, right?
Yeah, sure. Sure. But it is a very difficult school to get into. And yeah, it's also like very expensive to just like go to a school out of state. But then of course there's University of Miami, which is also really cool. And I love the idea of a city, like being in a city.
Big city?
Yes. But yeah, University of Miami is a really good pick as well. So
what would you major in Miami? Like,
I haven't looked at that part yet. I've only looked at majors for USC Thornton.
And Miami, like just location, Miami.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I haven't looked too much into it. It's only recently that I started to be intrigued by it and start thinking about it.
Well, definitely gotta think more, because it'll go by fast.
Oh yes.
These last couple of years will go by really fast.
Do you remember when you were young?
No, I'm old. I'm so old. I don't remember being young. No, of course I remember being young. And my plan, when I was in high school, was to be a pharmaceutical sales rep and be in the medicine field, but more so pharmacy. And that didn't happen at all. Yeah, I ended up. Me and my friends had a competition of who could have the most jobs in a single year, and so we did that. And it was like right after high school, so I was still going to community college. In community college, I was studying marketing and sales, and so we had this competition of who could have the most jobs in a year. So we were constantly like, we would get hired by one person, and literally like that same week, I'm probably quitting that job because I got hired by somebody else. And doing that, we, at least me, I learned very quickly what I like and what I didn't like in a job at a very young age. And what I liked was I had a job where I was driving, and I listened to the radio. Obviously, I was into music and DJing, and I didn't have to like worry about like having a boss around me, hovering over my shoulder. I didn't like that at all.
I don't like that either.
I also don't like being in a room or like a store, like retail, where I'm seeing the same walls constantly, all day, every day. Didn't like that at all. I also didn't like, like in school, you're in a classroom and you just constantly look at the clock and you're like, oh my God, when is this class going to be over? And it feels like it's like 20 minutes has gone by, and you look up and it's been 5, and you're just like, oh my God, this is never going to end. Well, there's jobs that are like that too. And I didn't like that at all.
Yeah, I can't imagine doing that.
So the jobs, out of all the jobs I had, which was a lot of jobs, I think the competition was like for a year, but I think I did it for like 3 just by myself. And the jobs I loved the most was on the road, driving, listening to music. The scenery changes because I'm driving. Weather conditions change, and time goes by so fast when you're driving. And there's no boss. Like you're your own boss. So I was like, I don't want to be a pharmacist. I want to drive. And then I follow the path there. But the point of the story is, my original desire is not where I ended up. And as you get older, you don't know what's going to make you happy. But at the end of the day, happiness is number one.
Yeah.
There's no point in most people think it's money and they just want a high paying job. But there's no point in having a high paying job if it brings you a lot of stress and discomfort and unhappiness. You're not happy. It's all about happiness. If you do what makes you happy, like the saying is, you find something you love and you'll never work a day in your life. And it's very true. As long as you love what you do, it's not work. You'll never wake up saying, I don't want to go to work today. That'll never happen. And I can speak from experience. I love what I do. And driving and DJing, it's all love. I love it all.
I want that so bad.
You can get there.
It excites me just even talking about it.
Yeah, both your parents, we both love what we do. So you have 2 great coaches in your corner, 2 people you can always go to figure it out. And we're going to be there for you.
You guys are great.
Thank you.
You guys are
I know
great.
I am. No, she's great too.
Oh. Whatever.
Don't say that. But yeah, but like you said earlier, you're a perfectionist. I'm a perfectionist too, and the hardest thing for me is being a perfectionist. That is it's a fault. It really is. Which
is really great for me because there are multiple people in my family who are perfectionists. So I learned to get the greatest parts of that and leave behind the bad parts.
Mm-hmm.
Because I definitely know that there's songs that I've written that I'm like, oh my god, this sounded good a couple months ago and now I don't like it and I don't want to release it and I want people to hear it. But
right.
I remember my goal at the end of the day as an artist. It's wanting to help people, wanting to inspire people, wanting to comfort people. And even if the song doesn't seem perfect to me, it might reach someone else, and that's all I really want.
Mm.
And of course, this is my young work. No matter what I do, I'm always gonna look back at my old work and cringe a little bit.
Of course.
But it's fine
Of
because
course.
It's old work, and of course I'm gonna make something even better. And if anything, looking back at my old work is only gonna make me happier because I can see that I improved. So there's some parts that you have to take from being a perfectionist and some parts that you just have to leave.
Definitely. There's I have old mixes in my hard drive from when I was in high school, and there's some of them I'm just oh my god, that was off. Why did I record that and let people listen to that? But then you think back and you do see the growth, and you see where you came from and where you are now. And then there's some mixes that I listen to and I'm just I forget it was me, and they're just that good. And it's it's halfway through it, I'll be oh wait, that was me. I did this. That's awesome. This is so great. Why can't I do it again? No, I'm kidding.
It's like that sometimes.
But being a perfectionist, yeah, you'll make something and you just you don't want to put it out, you don't want to release it, you don't want other people to see it. It's almost fear of being criticized, but my fear is not being criticized by others, it's being criticized by myself.
Yep, same.
And it's just because I really don't care what people think, because I do what I do for me. When I make a mix, I don't do it for other people. I hope this group of people enjoy it, or this group of people, or this one person, I hope they listen to it and they like it. No, I literally make it for what I want to hear in the car when I'm driving. And if other people love it and like it, then that's great. And if they don't, I don't care. But normally the people I hang around with, they enjoy it because we have the same taste in music.
Yeah.
But my point is, the inspiration is not others, it's literally for myself.
Because for me, it is for others, but it isn't for everyone. Because at the end of the day, you can't please everyone.
Right.
If I go after a certain group, faking, certain lyrics, trying to entertain these people, I'm only going to attract the wrong people.
Right.
And I want to attract people who, are similar to me. Because, the things that I go through, or, stories that I really want to tell of, experiences that other people around me have had. I want to write about that. I want others to just find something in it, even if it isn't, complete enjoyment. I want them to feel something, because I feel like that's what the purpose of music and just art is. It's supposed to make you feel something.
Oh, of course. I read a book, and it says, like, for that in particular, not wanting to share something because, like, fear of what other people think or just what you might think you're putting it out. It was like the greatest go-to is just saying it's art. If you just say it's art, like, that right there is like no one can criticize it because it's art.
Because art has no formula.
It has no formula, right? If you ever like been to a museum and there's paintings and it just is like paint splatter, like you'd be like, what is this? Like a kindergartner could do this. And they'd be like, no, it's art.
It's art.
This is a $10 million art piece. Yeah, like you just gotta put it out as art. I might name everything I do art. No, but like honestly, like I know, like, so part of the reason why I'm doing this like podcast and this whole series is because like I tend to be a very private person. I don't post a lot on social media. I don't really like share my life with a lot of people, and I know I have to like improve. Like that's an area where I want to improve, to grow, because I always want to grow every year. Like I want to look back and reflect and not be the same person I was last year, right? So my birthday's coming up in a couple weeks, and so part of this is growth for me. One, to post more on social media. Two, to open up. Three, I felt like this was like a calling, this podcast, to do it. I've been wanting to do it. Something's been telling me to do it, and I was like, nah, I don't want to do it. Like I don't like the sound of my own voice. Like I don't like being on camera. And I was like, those are just excuses. And it's like, if you want to grow, you have to obviously step outside the comfort zone, which I've always told you, as you've been growing up. And so I'm like, I got to do it. Even though I know I'm not going to like it initially, eventually down the road, it'll become who I am.
And you might find that you really enjoy it.
Right. I might find I enjoy it. Exactly.
I figured out the same thing this year as well.
Yeah. So like you, like singing and songwriting, I know like I see you and like I see those same like fears almost. And so I'm like, I'm going to do it like as an example for you, because you know how I am. Yeah. And so like, I want you to see a close example of someone doing it, even though it makes them uncomfortable, because it does. But you're a driving force for me to continue. That's like number one for me. And then number two, I'm going to get more comfortable on front of camera, hearing the sound of my own voice. Like I know sometimes I tend to like mumble slightly, but like playing back the podcast, I'm going to hear that and I'm just going to be forced to talk slower, maybe more clearer, which is ultimately going to make me a better speaker, right? So there's no harm, no foul. So yeah, and I feel like I'm going to talk to more interesting people. Obviously, I know a lot of interesting people now, but if the podcast and the channel does grow, then I'll branch out. I'll meet more people. You know how friendly and people person I am. People just come up to me. So there's no like, what do I have to lose, basically? I don't read comments because I'm not on social media like that. I'm literally going to post. I might read a comment here and there, or someone might. I have friends that read them, and they'll tell me like, hey, so we'll see where it goes. I have no idea where it's going to end up. I don't know where it's going to take me. It might take me nowhere, and that's okay. Like, literally, that's okay. But as long as I tried and I grew as a person individually, that's where I'm at.
I think it's really cool that you're going in with, like, no expectations set.
None.
That's really how we should just continue to live in general.
I agree. It really is, because you have expectations, and a lot of people, their expectations are just so out of reach, and they don't realize that, and then they fall short, and when you fall short, you get unhappy, like, oh, I can never do this, and you just, like, you're hard on yourself, and then they give up. And really, what they're doing is they're looking at their losses instead of looking at where they gained, or where they improved, and it might be a small improvement, and that's fine. If you do a small improvement every week, ultimately, after a year, and then you look back where you were a year prior, that's a lot. it's all in the incrementals. So you just gotta focus on that, you know.
That's how I was with my singing, because my singing is probably the most insecure thing about like my music process right now, because I've been writing since I was very young, and I never had a teacher or anything like that, and I'm only now starting to like have a mentor for writing like that. You know, it was always just showing some poetry to teachers, getting their feedback on it, but it was never anything like sit down, like let's write, let's learn.
Right.
But with singing, it was so much more difficult to try and teach myself singing. And you know, it's more of an instrument than kind of a thought process, whereas writing is a thought process, and I'm just very in touch with my emotions and the way that I think. So yeah, with singing, when I was younger, it was more of a thing where I try, and I would get so upset with myself because I'm like, you don't sound good. But nowadays, I take it easier on myself. I mean, I'm still hard on myself, of course, but it's a lot easier now. And I actually like recorded something the other day. It was like this one chorus that I had to come up with, and I listened to it, and I'm like, I actually am satisfied with this recording. I would always used to record myself and be like, this is good enough. But I was actually satisfied for once. Snap. And that felt so good.
Right?
And I went back just looking through my voice memos just out of curiosity, and I went back to like something from 2 years ago of me singing, and I listened to it, and I cringed so much. But it just made me even happier.
Right. Because you see how far you've come.
Exactly.
It's good.
So even though I'm still like a little insecure right now about my singing, I don't take it as hard on myself, because I know that every time that I do go to practice singing, I'm only bettering myself, and that, you know, in a couple months, in a couple years, I'm gonna be even better.
I'm telling you, it's really good to go through it now, especially at a young age. One, because I know you're tough enough to deal with like criticism and stuff like that. But I mean, you know how I feel about haters, and I've told you what haters are. And anyways, we won't go there. But let them hate. Like, haters are gonna hate, and at the end of the day, it's just, you know what? You don't have the courage, you don't have the balls to do what I'm doing. Like, let me see you stand in front of people and say, "Oh, you won't," because you're scared.
And it's not even just that, because I've gone through my own thought process of what I think haters are, combined with your mindset about it. And I had written a lyric a while ago, and I said, like, there is no difference between love and hate, when at the end of the day, all they do is fascinate. And like, that's truly what it is. No matter if you love me or hate me, you're still the first person who's going to pay attention to me. You're still going to be the first person to ask what I'm doing. Like, you're just being a fan. That's all it is. Like, you're a hater. You're just a fan.
You're just a fan.
You're just a fan.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Well, I am definitely interested in seeing your journey and seeing how far you go. You know, I will always be by your side, whatever you need. I love you very much. Daddy loves you.
I love you too.
Yeah, anytime you want to be a guest, let me know. Anytime you want to talk.
This is fun.
Yeah?
This is very chill. Very calming.
I'm not an intimidating person to talk to.
No, you're not.
I'm not.
You're really not.
I feel like when I told you we were doing this, like, you were a little shy and hesitant and scared.
That's how I am when I approach most things. Give it a couple minutes, eventually I'll just be like the most confident person in the room.
Give it like a week, she's gonna be like, "Daddy, I need to talk to you on the podcast. Let's go. I got something I want to say to the people."
To the people.
But yeah.
That's how I am. It's just the shyness and the confidence. It's very... That's the best way I can explain it.
But yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, think about anything you want to talk about. Future visits, future recordings.
Hopefully I can come back and talk more about music.
Yeah, hopefully you come back with a finished EP. And we can put a link so everybody can listen to it.
Yes.
And not read the comments.
I'm so excited. Let's not read some comments.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, that was fun.